Hello people. I need to go up the mast to test my anchor light. There's power going to the mast, so I'm thinking that just the light is out. That wasn't the case with the navigation lights. That was a bad breaker behind the breaker panel. So that's solved, but this one is next. So what I have here is a rope ladder that goes up the mast, and it has slugs that follow the mast to keep you from flapping around. So I'll set the camera up and you can see how that goes. Wasn't long enough, so we have to start it. We have to pull it up higher and then have a really big first step. And I have to straighten out these legs. This thing was twisted around, causing some of the legs to be on the wrong side, making it really hard to climb. So I have to be very careful. I set it up with the legs going left, right, left, right, left, right. Otherwise I just can't get up it.
Hopefully this time it works out, so that issue can be solved and we can book our splash day. Kind of excited. Want to get out of this cold weather. It's not even that cold. It's like 4 degrees, but it feels cold. 7 degrees, but it feels like 4.
Yeah. Watch your camera. Just slowly pull that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike is all the way up there. Hopefully our anchor light works.
That was super difficult. The light bulb was a little incandescent that when you take the lid off, it just falls over. So you're trying to balance this light bulb in the fixture while putting the lid on and not dropping it down 50 feet to the ground while dangling. And with this harness, I can't actually get on top of the masthead. I'm still looking up at it, or at eye level, so I can't see inside of it to see the contacts. So I had to actually take the light off, wipe the contacts, put it back together. It's still just as bad. It's still glitchy. It flickers if I touch it.
So that was a waste of time to go all the way up there?
It was a waste of time.
Oh, baby.
It's cool. It's just like it was before, but I can't do anything more to it. My hands are too cold. I can't hold on to my tools. I feel like I'm just gonna drop something. Every time I pick up a tool, I'm like trying to clutch onto it.
No, let's just warm up.
Freezing. It's cold up there. Well, we have a new light coming, so I wait till that gets here.
So you think it's just the light, and the light is gonna?
Well, there's a short underneath the light. The light, like under the base light, so the light's raised on a little platform like this, and the light sits on top of it, and this part here is where the masthead is. And there's 2 bolts that come through to hold it, but only one of the bolts are actually attached. The other one hangs off the side, and the wires go through that hole and up into it. But if I touch those wires, the light flickers on and off.
So that's what it is. It's just loose.
I pulled the sheathing off. There's shrink wrap that's never been shrunk. There's shrink wrap that's totally loose. I cut one of those off thinking that maybe they just had a spade connector in there, and there was no spade connector. It was crimped on with no weather shrink wrap or anything. Shrink wrap was slid over top of it but never heated up. So I either have to take the light down and find out what's wrong with it, or wait for a few more days for a new light to come, just install a new light down with it. To do that though, I'm gonna have to borrow Wayne's chair because I have no hands to work with there. Like I'm literally holding on to the mast and like with all my might trying to get one hand on it to even touch it. If I let go, I'm falling back because I'm standing on
and
one strap.
And obviously you weren't secure enough.
Yeah, and this thing just came right undone. So clearly I thought this is how this thing went together.
It looks like it.
It looks like it. It goes on like this, but it gets slack very easy. It's definitely not a climbing. Look at this thing just spins on here. So I don't know if I'm using this wrong or if it's just because this is totally not for this purpose.
It looks like it.
It looked like it. I thought like that kind of friction, it feels good, but then a steady pull, it feels like it's not moving right now. But then as soon as I put a pull on this thing, by the time I was up there and I'm hanging I put a rope around my shoulders and around the mast, try to free my hands up, and then I noticed that this thing was like at arm's length away from me. It was all the way out. show you. That is not gonna hold me up if I fall. And then I just have a rope I wrapped around in one knot. So I need a better way. I'm gonna have to see if he can find his chair, license chair.
Just ask him now so he can take his time, and whenever the light gets here, we can install a new light, and that would be solved.
Because with that, I can sit down on something and then freeze my hands up. Like, it'll probably be too hard for you to hoist me up that way unless he came over and hoisted, because you gotta lift my body weight with the winch.
I think I can do it with the winch.
It's sketchy as heck up there. Oh my gosh, there's nothing to hold on to. I got 1 foot in a strap. After a while, your knees are just wobbling because you're just holding yourself up with your foot in a sling, and then one hand around the mast.
Well, that's not that high, so hopefully we can solve the issue from that light.
But the light, there's power up there. Like,
yeah, there's power.
That was the main thing. The main thing I wanted to know, is there power going up there? And there 100% is. There's power at the base. So I confirmed there is power at the top of the mast. Just the light has a short in the wiring, whether it's just a connector underneath it, because nothing's waterproof. Like, you can see like it's an opening on the bottom of the light.
That's not good.
The wires were not shrink wrapped, so I'm gonna have to cut those off and heat shrink on some cleaner wires
and make it waterproof, maybe.
Yeah, the short could be at the connectors, but it seems like it shorts out more when I touch it on the bottom of the light. So I think it shorted at the light. But either way, if we get new lights, I'm gonna cut the wires off.
Make it nice.
And make it nice. Make a nice soldered on connection, because I have those heat shrink.
Well, people, it looks like the issue is gonna be solved. We got electricity up the mast. Michael was able to check that out, and hopefully we're gonna get a new anchor light soon, and Mike can install it and we can get a splash day. Yeah, we're almost in the water. So Mike is gonna go all the way up to the mast again for the second time. He's gonna fix the anchor light until we get our new anchor light, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, you're gonna get your workout doing that, that's for sure. Is this rope hooked healthy enough? I don't like how loose that is. You gotta stretch this thing open so that this thing's not so loose on there.
People, this is hard. Until I get tired. How was that?
It was horrible. I don't like it at all. I get the light installed, everything is going beautifully, and then I'm just taping up the excess wires when I'm all done, and it flickers. So I take the lid back off of it, and there's no springiness to the light, so the light pushes in and turns and lets go. You let go and it's loose. Like the spring
doesn't do anything?
Doesn't do anything. You could push it down, but when you turn and lock, it goes loose. So I ended up sticking a wad of electrical tape above the light, so when I screwed that in, it pushed down on it, and now it works.
Wow. Okay,
it's a semi-permanent solution.
Well, I guess we got anchor light now.
We got an anchor light now.
Yay!
Let's go in the water. High five.